Welcome to RFD-TV Live, an informative and interactive hour featuring topics and products of interest to rural America, with expert guests on hand to answer your questions or discuss your feedback. And now, RFD-TV Live.
Good evening and welcome to RFD-TV Live. I'm News Director Mark Oppel. Tonight we welcome back our friends from AGROTAIN. You know, in journalism school, when writing a story, we were taught to make sure that the story answered the questions what, where, when, and how. Well, our friends from AGROTAIN have that same model in tonight's show, using the same model, the topic, where, when, and how to use AGROTAIN to save N. We're going back to the basics on this show to help you better understand where, when, and how to use AGROTAIN on your acres. Helping us do that, Alan Sutton and John Hassel from AGROTAIN. Gentlemen, welcome back to RFD-TV.
Thank you, Mark.
It's always great to have AGROTAIN here, and we've done this before, and we're going to, again, cover some of the same ground for producers. It's great to have you both here. Alan, let's start with you. Give our viewers background information. You are the Vice President, Market and Product Development for AGROTAIN. But before that, your background.
Oh, I'm actually a farm boy, born and bred in Kentucky, and still farming the family farm today. My love for agriculture is deep. I've been in the fertilizer industry for 32 years and been in the nitrogen business for most of that.
And as VP of Market and Product Development, give our viewers an idea. You know, you do a lot of traveling. You told me that, man. Your frequent flyers are adding up in a hurry.
I do frequent fly and I frequent drive too, and I like the windshield time. I get to see how our products are working in the field, obviously, but we're in charge of all the manufacturing. We look after the research, all the product development, and we're constantly striving to make our products better and more serviceable to the farmer's needs.
Good to have you here again. Looking forward to our visit here during this hour.
We are too.
We also mentioned John Hassel with us. John is a Research and Agronomic Development Manager with AGROTAIN. John, again, welcome back. And viewers may be seeing you for the first time. Your background, grew up in Oklahoma.
I did. I grew up in Okmulgee, Oklahoma, eastern part of Oklahoma. I worked for 20 years in conservation work with the Oklahoma Conservation Commission, and later on moved to West Lafayette, where I worked with the Conservation Technology Information Center, working in no-till systems. And then more recently, for the last 4 years, worked with AGROTAIN International.
Very good. And we're anxious to hear. On your side, it'll be more research. We're going to be covering different scenarios, but in your case, giving viewers an idea of the research that supports what we're talking about.
That's correct.
Very good. And in fact, Alan and John welcome your telephone calls later in the program. In fact, viewers, your questions helped us put the show together tonight. And things like nitrogen efficiency, we talked about the causes of nitrogen losses, various crops and various geographic parts of the country. Talked about, of course, better yield results in earlier programs, greenhouse gas reduction, cold weather volatility, a lot of those things. But still, majority of your viewer questions follow the same line. Here's my situation. How should I use AGROTAIN? We're going to try to do that tonight. Before we do that, though, I want to go back, Alan, to you. This is a kind of an anniversary, not kind of, it is an anniversary year for AGROTAIN. Tell us about that.
It is, and this year, the upcoming 2010 growing season marks AGROTAIN as a product. 15 years in the marketplace, and we think that's certainly a milestone mark.
Absolutely.
And as AGROTAIN progressed, Lang Stegman Company out of St. Louis saw the opportunity to take this and make us the leader in nitrogen management, and I'm happy to say that this year marks the 10th anniversary of AGROTAIN International.
AGROTAIN International. And you know, viewers, you're well aware of, you know, the award shows for Academy Awards and Grammys and things like that. And Alan, AGROTAIN right up there when it comes to this particular segment of agriculture and crop production. AGROTAIN gets the awards there too. You're, I'm sure, proud to share that with us.
Well, yes, I would like to just say that for the 5th year in a row, AGROTAIN has won the Product of the Year in the fertility category of the No-Till Association. And this is important to us because AGROTAIN was actually first developed for no-till or conservation tillage surface application agriculture. And as we've grown, our following has increased to the point that 5 years with the best farmers that are the no-till guys in the world, it's pretty notable.
Viewers need to be aware that this award didn't come from the inner circles. It came from you, producers, no-till producers, who voted AGROTAIN 5 years in a row as the product of the year. So we're glad you're joining us this evening and for this hour to learn about this product. And maybe you're watching for the first time and hearing about AGROTAIN for the first time. Before we get into all different scenarios, Alan, let's give them an idea exactly what AGROTAIN does.
AGROTAIN is urease inhibitor, and when you apply nitrogen, particularly urea-containing nitrogen mark, to the surface of the soil, it volatilizes and can go off as a gas into the atmosphere. AGROTAIN is the product of choice when it comes to stopping that type of loss. Incidentally, these losses, this is where the AGROTAIN works on the volatilization side of the product, but it can be expanded now to a compound we call AGROTAIN Plus, which in addition to stopping the loss from volatilization can also stop the losses from denitrification and leaching that occur under the soil. And these losses can be great, and many of us experienced all three of these this last farm year.
Well, each year you probably pick up a few more things that AGROTAIN does because of the farmers and no-till producers that let you know that.
Yes, and these losses can be dramatic. 30% loss from volatilization is a very common number, and as you talked about a little bit ago, even in cool conditions we found now, and I think John will share some of that work with you, that these losses continue. And this is important to know to make us have the opportunity to know when to use it.
All right. Well, let's get started. That's where we're going to start tonight, viewers. Alan and John are going to walk us through different scenarios. Alan, you're going to walk us through scenarios and tell us how and if AGROTAIN is the answer. First, we talk about broadcasting for corn. What about that?
Well, yeah, broadcasting for corn, and that is a very popular subject with AGROTAIN, because we get out there and we're often surface broadcasting the urea, and perhaps even in a blend with urea and phosphate and potash. Mark, this can be days in advance of incorporation or potentially a rain. And as we do this, these big rigs, as you see on your screen here, move through the field so quickly that most larger growers can't keep up with this rig. So if urea can't be incorporated within 24 hours or so, you need to look at using AGROTAIN. More and more are switching to over-the-top. Urea is very versatile, and urea can be used throughout the growing season. This is a picture of a fertilizer rig that's actually side dressing over the top of the growing field. And there's some advantages to AGROTAIN in all of these situations.
Yeah,